Hey Firecrackers, it's Naomi and welcome to the Firecracker Department. It's early, it's the day before our big Firecracker Department TIFF brunch, and you know, with these kind of events, it's the home stretch, and you gotta keep going right now. And so that means waking up at 7 and doing this intro, but that's okay. That's okay. The birds, I am getting some sideways looks from some birds going, what are you doing up? This is usually our time. You know what? I can be here too. Okay, here we go. So, I'm so excited that my guest today is Michelle Buteau. She's not only an actress, she's a comedian, she's a writer, she's a host, she's a podcaster, she's a producer, she's a mother of twins. What? Oh my gosh. And she is this year's Firecracker Department BLAZE Award recipient. So there's a lot to celebrate in this gal. You'll know her from shows like Always Be My Maybe, Tales of the City, Russian Doll, oh I love that show, The Circle on Netflix, The First Wives Club on BET, Broad City, oh my gosh, love that show, Two Dope Queens, and that's just TV. She's hosted and produced talk shows like the podcast Adulting and the other podcast called Late Night Whenever. And if that's not impressive enough, she's got her stand-up special, Welcome to Buteaupia, on Netflix. It's gonna premiere on Netflix. Oh, I'm excited. It's 7 in the morning. Oh gosh, the squirrels have lined up at this point and are like, you're really jazzed this morning. I am jazzed because I'm talking about Michelle Buteau. Those guys. All right, go find some nuts. Go on, get out of here, you crazy kids. So, Netflix premiere. Funny, honest, right? Like, no holds bars. She's like one of those people that is unapologetically who she is. And from my perspective, she doesn't need to apologize. She's fantastic. Because you think, oh, I've got a lot going on with this, that, and the other. Well, she's got this, that, and the other, and twins. Like when I called her to talk to her about the BLAZE Award, she had these two little cute beings crawling all over her. And she's somehow still producing funny, amazing content. She's got her book coming out, Survival of the Thickest, in December. Come on. We met on another Netflix show on the new film called Work It. We jumped into transport together. We talked for 30 seconds and we were instantly friends. And that's the kind of woman she is. So while the rest of the cast were like dancing around, putting their legs next to the ears, we were connecting and having some pretty great snacks. So you tell me who won. I don't know. I feel pretty victorious. I knew she was funny before we met because I've known of her work for a long time. And then just to meet her and find out just what a gem she is, it was a real treat. So when it came time to plan our annual TIFF brunch and we started talking about the BLAZE Award, I was like, it's Michelle Buteau. There's no discussion. And I shared a bunch of clips with the core team and talked about what she's doing in the world and her activism and her generosity and her commitment and her Buteauisms. And everybody was absolutely in agreement. We created the BLAZE Award to honor spectacular artists who are contributing to their community and breaking the ceiling, helping pave the way for others, and just making really good content in a purposeful way. Last year, we celebrated singer-songwriter, author, podcaster, fantastic personer, Jen Arden, and that was such a fun event. And this year, we absolutely had to celebrate the year of Buteau. Michelle represents just everything that we are at Firecracker Department, everything we stand for, positive, creative action. She's doing that. She's doing it with kindness, she's doing it with positivity, and I will follow wherever she goes. Big shout out to our sponsors for the BLAZE Award, which is this fantastic jewelry store called Made You Look in Toronto, Canada, madeyoulook.ca. They have one store and like a whole bunch of different designers. So every BLAZE Award, I reach out to Sarah, who owns the store, and she helps me pick out a beautiful piece of jewelry. I looked at past photos of Michelle and sort of got a sense of like, I wonder what kind of bracelet she would like. And Sarah and I chose this beautiful bracelet. We had it engraved. We shipped it to New York. She received it and she loved it. The bracelet itself was made by Meg Elizabeth of Meg Elizabeth Bespoke Jewelry. Oh my gosh, her stuff is so beautiful. She hand makes amazing, one-of-a-kind pieces for special occasions like engagements, weddings, prop accessories for TV and film. She can do anything. She's a firecracker of all trades, no doubt about it. So you can find her online, magelizabeth.com, or see everything she makes in person at Made You Look, or go to madeyoulook.ca. Meg Elizabeth, you're a genius. It's beautiful. Michelle loves it. So big love, big shout outs to Made You Look Jewelry Store in Toronto on Queen Street West. Make sure if you get a chance, give them some love. This is not an easy time for any business, and every little bit of love sure helps. madeyoulook.ca. Mwah! I love you, Sarah. All right, let's do this conversation. I had such a great time chatting with Michelle. Here is my conversation with Firecracker Department BLAZE Award winner, Michelle Buteau. I made up this whole podcast thing just to hang out with you. It's exhausting.
Oh my God.
I knew you were extraordinary from the moment I met you when we were doing work on set and we traveled together, and you'd been in a plane in isolation for like 84 hours or something crazy because they canceled your flight. And then as soon as I met you, I was like so enamored with who you are instinctually. And then I saw you like on set and I'm like, oh no, you're just that. You're just that with everybody. You're this truth bomby, but then real. Like some people, you know, bomb. But then some people behave that way as a, you know, like as a deflector, like you do the jokes as a deflect, but that's not your jam. Like you are so real all the time. And I want to know what that came from. Like, where did you get addicted to that? Because I think that authenticity is addictive once you start going.
I mean, I don't know. I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember, but I don't know. Also, like, you know, growing up, the only sort of weird light-skinned Caribbean bitch in Central Jersey with big hair and like a fully formed body at 12 with freckles. People were like, what the fuck is it? So I feel like the things that I was hated for now I'm celebrated for, because I, you know, I'm the only child, so I really didn't have friends. So I would sort of talk to my dolls and we would have the realest conversation. So it's so nice. And I think when I think about doing stand-up and going to a lot of different scenes in stand-up, like the Chitlin circuits, the black circuit, the gay circuits, obviously the gay circuit, the mainstream circuit is the comedy clubs that you pay way too much money to go sit down hoping that you see fucking Ben Stiller walk in or whatever the fuck you're doing. So I feel like going
or Michelle Buteau.
Ow. But I feel like going to all these comedy clubs and different scenes in comedy sort of I was able to do that because I went to a lot of different schools growing up. And so you have to just have a handshake and a smile and just keep it moving. And that's the same thing coming to set. You know, you had been there for, God, I don't know how long y'all were taping, but I'm just showing up for my 1 or 2 days, just a big titty happy mess off of a plane. Well, that formula works for you because you are beloved. Like you have a chemistry that people are like, I want in on that. Whatever the Buteau is, I'm in on it. Oh, I love that. It's so funny you say that because I really feel like it's so polarizing. People, it's like cilantro. People are into it or don't know how to take it. I taste like soap. My pussy tastes like soap.
I've never thought you were like cilantro, but I get it. I'm not for everybody, and then I'm for somebody. But you know what? You're for me. Like I'm so reading your mail, picking up what you're putting down, all the expressions that you read on all the T-shirts. I'm all of those for you. I also feel like the way you behave is so infectious that people are like, oh, she's being real with me. I'm not gonna give you anything other than realness. Well,
there's no time in life to be fake. Well, I feel like
I like that idea. I don't know if it's a time issue. It's more of a nerves and fear issue.
We're all afraid or insecure of something. And if we all just understood that about each other, like truly just outside of the whole picture everybody naked, like we all have something. It doesn't matter how thin, how tall, how short, how rich, how whatever the fuck, we all have something. And if we can all come to the table, that truly is the Thanksgiving we should be fucking celebrating, bringing all of our fucking neuroses to the table and being like, that's so crazy because I do this and you do that. It's like, you know, otherwise it's like people who really try to, you know, fake the funk, they age me. I feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be You are sucking all my joy out of my body. I feel like I'm gonna be bald at the end of this conversation. I can't do it.
Yeah. So where did that come from? Like, I know you weren't always in stand-up and comedy. You were started in entertainment reporting,
Yeah.
which is a different level of truth, but you're not able to be, I don't know. I would love to see entertainment reporting coming from you, your actual voice, because I think that'd be way more entertaining than the facade that people put up. But
That's why I couldn't
like, how
make
did
it,
that
apparently.
fit?
I mean, I think I always wanted to talk to people because my family is so diverse, American and also Caribbean and then also some European. And so I feel like once you have people in your family that English isn't their first language, you just sort of, figure out how to communicate. But, my mom is very conservative and she used to straighten my hair a lot and cover my freckles and take me to church and be like, don't laugh so loud, don't be so this, don't be so that. And so when I got to college, I wanted to be an entertainment reporter, and I remember my college professor was just like, but you're too fat to be on camera in front of the whole class. And I didn't challenge him because I didn't know that I could, because he was older than me, and like, real talk, I didn't see anyone like me on camera. So I'm like, I guess that's right. So I just went into production because I just loved creating. And I feel like it was always there, but there was no Kris Jenner saying, you could do it, honey. So I make fun of my mom now because now she's Team Titty Buteau, but before she's just like, why you gotta do all this stuff? And now I make fun of her. I'm like, we could have been flying private, bitch. If you just believe me, in 7th grade, we could have been flying private. Now go in that line and take your shoes off.
I mean, I read somewhere also that you were talking about how you're glad you're having success later because of dealing with the rejection would have been harder now, or harder then.
Yeah.
But
I
is
mean,
it easier now for you?
it is easier now in that I didn't know that it was just one person's opinion. I just thought like that's how people really viewed me. And
Right,
so,
everybody.
yes. And
Yeah.
now I realize that, executives are just as scared as everybody else auditioning because they don't want to get fired. They don't want to be canceled. They don't want an article about them saying that they missed this person or passed on that or did the wrong thing. And so they're not taking chances like they should be. Just because I guess it's not in the budget and everyone cares about numbers as opposed to vulnerability and actually making something good, which is why a lot of indie things fucking make it to the Oscars. Because it's like, what happens when you actually have some money and real fucking feelings to create something?
Yeah.
Magic!
What? I know. Do you remember seeing something like, or witnessing an artist that was creating that kind of magic and being like, I want in on that?
Oof, 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 oof. I mean, comedy comes to mind, really and truly. I'm trying to think of actors. Um,
Well, I'll
Comedy
give you
comes to
mine.
mind.
So
Yeah, Heath
you can
Ledger.
think.
Sorry, go ahead.
Like, oh yeah, no, if you've got one, what is it? Heath Ledger from which performance?
All of them, to be
Or
honest.
overall?
Even 10 Things I Hate About You. I'm like, why can't I stop watching him? Why? He's playing this bad guy, but he's really a good guy, but he might be a bad guy. He's a good guy that makes bad decisions. And fuck, that's who he was in life. It was like fucking bananas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, I mean, there's tons of moments where I discover comedians have like the depth that I just love so much that I see in you. Like whenever you, even like as you've had like what they're calling like scene stealer moments, but those moments are scene stealers because they're deep. Like Catherine O'Hara in Mighty Wind, funny, ridiculous, and suddenly, boom! There's this
So,
moment that you're like, oh, my
yeah.
heart! Like I love that so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, she's so fucking talented. I
Yeah.
mean, all the things. And she's so and that's a beautiful thing too. It's like when you can make your own lane, when you make your own box, because there really is nobody like her.
Well, speaking of, like, don't you feel like you're doing that? This has been the year of the Buteau. Like, look at all the, like, I was looking at all the things that you've like jumped in on, like the Always Be My Maybe and the Circle, hosting the Circle show, like in diverse, like you wrote a book, you First Wives Club. There's so many things that you've done. Your head must be spinning.
No, well, my head's always spinning anyways. I always have like a lot of ideas and I like, I'm always like looking at stuff and thinking and overthinking and And so it's really hard to sleep in general. I mean, that's just who I've always been. And so, you know, it's funny because if now it's great because, you know, now I'm getting booked and shit, but before it was just the same. I was just auditioning for a bunch of stuff and or not even getting those auditions. And so I really do feel like Netflix has changed the game for everyone, especially as a plus size bitch. You know, like I don't think the industry even knew that big people were worthy of love and that people want to see it. And the fact that I'm getting these roles where I get to have sex scenes and be vulnerable and not just be the hey girl, hey, sassy fucking neighbor is fucking dope. And so I feel like, you know, Netflix is hella popular and winning all the awards because they are taking chances and they're not just beholden to these three men who are fucking predators running a goddamn network.
Right. Yeah, it does feel like you don't sleep. And I feel like if you were getting a couple hours sleep, you're like, how can I shake this up? Oh, maybe I'll have some twins and then I'll make sure I never sleep again.
It's wild. It really is wild. Sometimes I'm just like, I don't know. I've always been like one of those, I just need 20 minutes to keep me going anyways. But now I'm like, yeah, what phase are we in? Because I need someone to rub these shoulders.
What's your version of self-care? Like, because you know, it's so funny. I was doing like a meditation challenge with a friend of mine, and it was a self-care challenge. I challenge myself all the time, so it was a self-care challenge. And the things that she put on my plate every day weren't things like have a massage, like do a thing. It's mostly like just lock into who you are for 15 minutes, or like just take stock of what you love in the world, or breathe in the air, like things that actually you don't know are self-care, but if you do them mindfully, they are.
Yeah, it's funny you say those words because that is me with everything I do in and out. So if I'm making breakfast, like I love food, and my husband's always like, "You're doing too much." Well, these twins don't need 3 courses. I'm just like, but it's also an expression of love, and they're getting a fruit, a protein, and a meat, or perhaps a carb, and you know, it's just like fun for me. And like I have like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I really just want to make a quiche. How do I do? So it's like that, right? And then I'm like, what are we going to wear today? Because I feel like, you know, the way you present yourself to the world is like how you feel about yourself. And so even though I will get the kids dressed up, my husband's like, where are we going? I'm like, the kitchen. And we're going to look good doing it because there's like nowhere else to go. But let's take some pictures in the backyard. Because it's still a moment in time. It's still us looking. We're going to look back on this like 20 years from now and be like, oh, is that what I wore when I was 2? It's like, yeah, it's fucking fun. And so whether it's us doing our hair or watching TV or even playing a game, I just feel like being mindful and thoughtful and not just having to get through the day is really how I get through the fucking day. Do you know?
I get it. Like we're on that same level with food where we'll wake up and I'll be like, I'm going to make sag paneer. I don't know how, and I'm gonna figure it out. And it's
how much like, coriander is too much coriander. Bringing it back to my pussy like cilantro. This is gonna be the name of the episode. Her pussy tastes like toast. Sorry, soap. Toast.
Oh wait, soap on toast? No, I like that. I don't do it enough. I think I sometimes like throw myself together to get to the thing.
Yeah.
As opposed to being mindful about the mini steps. And I think you're right. Like there's so many of the mini steps that we're missing out on that could be forms of self-care or self-expression.
There's joy. I find more joy in the mini steps than actually getting to the thing, you know? Like I did not enjoy my wedding at all, but I didn't even enjoy planning it, but I enjoyed how much everyone else enjoyed it. And I was like, you guys are so dumb. This is just a party. Like I saw a magnet one. It's not about the wedding. It's about the marriage. And ain't that motherfucking true? It's like, I wish my parents didn't pay for this expensive wedding, but put money into us getting a house and or couples therapy, you know? Because those are the things you really need the money for if you want to be in a relationship. What was this question? I think we were talking about food and I went down.
I'm having a great time. I was talking about self-care.
Yes.
I want to, and I think that like also looking at your trajectory, like I think we, in our career, we kind of hit waves, right? Like you've hit like a wave of like, things are cooking. Do you feel like something changed? Like, or do you feel like you changed your mindset in any way that made things fall into place? Or do you just think it's the universe going, all right, it's your time, Michelle?
I think it's a perfect storm of all of that. I mean, to be honest, I was doing IVF for 5 years, and after 4 miscarriages, but still having to show up and fly myself out to LA for meetings and pilots and stuff like that. I had such a I don't give a fuck. I was so worried before about how I came across. I don't want to offend because I want to be asked back. I don't want to be the crazy bitch on the set. But I realized my crazy isn't even that crazy. It's just like a hey, how are you? Like, I'm just a fairy godmother with back fat, which is like my vibe, and I get it, and I'm into it. And so once I
Some
stopped,
people call those wings.
but once I just didn't have enough energy to give a fuck, and I gained weight, and I was sad, but also just like out here trying to get stuff done. So there was a mindfulness, not for them, but for me. And so that's when I kind of started booking too. And I think that also was the wave of like Lizzo and Orange is the New Black, where all of a sudden, people want to see different stories and they don't mind if there's more than one female or one ethnic female. But for a while, I was getting booked as like the Spanish gay person or like the Black gay person. Like there was only one.
Only one.
There was one box, and you had to fill it all. You had to do it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
so yeah, I think it was a perfect storm of that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm astounded with that kind of strength, because I feel like when I hit like lows of those times of like it's not working, it's hard for me to keep picking myself up.
Yeah.
Like, how did I mean, it's just hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a little batshit crazy, to be honest, because my husband's like, "Can you stay home? Do you have to go?" And to be honest, it wasn't even me showing up for them. Sometimes it was me showing up for me. Like I still wanted to maintain some sort of normalcy and have something to put my lipstick on for, do you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little bit of that too. And I'm glad I kept showing up because, I don't know if people can pick up on energy if they knew that I was going through something. When I am having a downward shame spiral, it's still funny apparently. Like I remember this one, what was that movie with Will Smith back in the day where he was like the only one who wasn't like an alien or like a robot or something. He had a dog, whatever the fuck. And I auditioned to be like a girl being interviewed by a news reporter, and then like I started crying blood. I'm like, I can't believe my whole family's died and I don't have it. And I start crying blood. And I'm like, I have it. And I started to cry, and I like fell down, did like a church drop where I'm like, no, Jesus. And like I did all this stuff. And then I'm doing my thing so hard, button, button, button. And then I just stop, and I thought they were crying with me, the casting. And I looked up and they were laughing hysterically at my pain. And I was like, oh, this is just what it is.
I just think like there's also this level of like mental checkout. Like so you're dealing with, like, you've just dealt with 4 miscarriages in 2 years, you're working on IVF. That alone is like taxing on your body. Yeah. I'm speaking without any kind of knowledge at all because I've never been through it, but I can imagine
Dr. Ozzy
sticking needles into you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I'm his understudy, surprisingly. Yeah. But so I think about that, and then I think, how are you able to like to put that aside? Like, because I find sometimes like when I'm dealing with all those things, my mental capacity can't even like memorize lines or be present.
Right.
Are you like in, I mean, meditation and yoga, I'm sure you do at least 2 or 3 hours of that a day. I'm not. I don't think you do. What do you think? What do you think the solution is to that?
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I feel like everybody has, everyone's different, but then also we have different stages of our lives, right? And having a good friend or partner or therapist fucking helps. Having an outlet fucking helps.
But not just the 3 in the same person. Like, don't make your husband your best friend and therapist.
Yes, Monique, right? We talking to you, bitch. We talking to you, Monique. Oh, truly. Yeah. Them checks can't always go to husband or partner. Yes.
So like you're saying, have like your 3 people on your team, your friend, your partner, your therapist, ready for
Yeah, because you can't do
Of
it
course.
alone. I don't know how people think they can. And I have a gaggle of friends. I have friends from all walks of life. I've always did, and I feel like that's important because people just can't be agreeing with you. But people should have your back. I didn't even realize I can't talk to people about my boyfriend, fiance, husband, my marital status because they're fucking judgy and will throw it back at you. And I'm like, ooh, cage animal energy match? No, thank you. Like, this shit is real and it's hard. And
Yeah.
when people don't know how to talk about it without being judgmental, I'm like, oh, you just haven't experienced it, you're not ready. That's what I tell myself anyway. So I feel like there's got to be at least 2 or 3 people that you can absolutely confide in. But I think it's also important to not make it all about fucking you, because you learn from other situations too. So it is so beneficial to ask your friend how they're doing, what they're going through too, because we can all learn from the good and the bad, and that doesn't always have to be in our backyard.
I'm just in agreement. I think that
Yeah.
it was Gloria here. I'm going to get all Gloria Steinem on you, but I think she said, like, if you have power, listen more than you speak, and if you don't have power, speak more than you listen.
Yeah, thank you, Gloria. Oh, she could wear a belt
Right?
buckle like nobody's business. I only want to wear black chokers
And
because of her. I'm
I
just
know it. I
saying,
know it.
what an icon.
I mean, it does feel like your stand up also is not it's not, you're not making fart noises under your arm. Like, you do have like a really strong point of view. Although you could, I'd be very entertained. But do you remember a time when you realized that your voice, this was a great platform for your point of view and your voice? Like, was there ever a time that you were doing shticky comedy and then you went, wait a second, I can actually speak some truthies here?
Yeah, I don't know when the truthies happened. I do think with again, to Netflix and just putting out specials where you don't have to fit under the umbrella of other cable networks, that there are just like more male forward audiences where they're just like, this is an international audience. What do you really say? We're gonna give you time and breath in between to like Nanette yourself or whatever the fuck. So
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't even know that was an option. For TV, I just thought that was something you do in a dark room when you have an hour to fill, and then you also have feelings to share. But for I did the college circuit for about 5 or 6 years, and I really feel like that sort of hindered me as a comedian, because I realized I was just pandering to really rich 18
Mm.
to 22-year-olds that just showed up in their pajama pants for free chicken fingers, and you know what I mean. So when I got back to business and started doing stand up for adults, there was so much that I didn't even realize I could talk about. So I don't even know when that happened really, but I do believe there was a shift with the comedy lineup on Netflix, where it was a 15-minute set, and I was like, this is easy peasy, super breezy. I know what 15 minutes is. I definitely want to say something. How do I fit it all in? And I'm so happy that one of those jokes went viral, which was nobody wants to see your dick joke, because out of the Me Too movement and Time's Up, it's our comedy is always about making something sad like funny. But for me, it's like you cannot make assault and rape fucking funny. But what I can do is yell as loud as I can that I don't want to see your crusty fucking dick. You could still be up top, but I'm going to be down here where you've put me, and I'm going to let you know I don't want to see it. And I didn't even know it'd be a battle cry for women and men. Men would be fucking DMing me in other countries and say, I was walking down the street and these guys said so and so, and I said so and so back. And I thought that was goddamn beautiful, because sometimes you don't even know you could say something till somebody tells you. And you want to say something, but you don't know what you want to say. So yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
have to, words have power. It isn't even about having TV credit anymore. Like, how many eyes on this? I mean, for me, it's never been about that anyways. It's just, I have to be able to sleep at night. I have to be able to, look back on this 30 or 40 years from now and be like, I'm proud that I said that, or I was going through fucking something, like, yeah, when people are just like, how do you teeter the line between comedy and not offending people? It's just like, because I'm not an asshole. you know, because I'm not an asshole, because I think outside of myself, because I realize other people are deserving of love, and I know what's fucking mean and what's a jab. And it's just like, and if you don't, then you're an asshole, you know? Oh, I fucking can't. Like, you could be funny without being a dick.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed. Like, I don't think, no, where's your intention at, right?
Where the fuck is your intention?
Like with COVID and also the Black Lives Matter movement, I mean, those two things got like were slamming to the whole world. And did you feel like there was a moment for me that I was so like flattened by the world, and then I went, oh, my job is actually to be funny right now, and to find funny in a positively intentional way. Did you find yourself make that switch?
No. No, I really respect it. No, I'm
not saying I accomplished it. I'm just saying like finding like your way through the Me Too movement in a comedic way. Did you also find that journey with COVID?
No, I haven't. I want to.
How are you? Yeah.
I want to, but I realize with COVID, especially, I know what Me Too is, and but I don't know what COVID is, and I did not know that science was so politicized. I did not know that people have different definitions of a fucking virus, and so it's just completely infuriating all the time. And plus, I'm a stay-at-home mom now, and I didn't know how to do that. Like, I knew how to hold it down and take care of everyone by going out in the world and making fun of things. But now, the first 2 weeks home felt like I was snorkeling, you know, and I was like, this is so beautiful, but I'm overwhelmed. Can I breathe through this new thing? This is so crazy. And so I didn't know if I could do it. Obviously I could do it. I'm fucking amazing. Oh my God. 24 diapers, shit in my nail every day, like a fucking,
oh, so easy.
Oh, like a Puerto Rican big titty Kathy Bates in every movie. Just give me some fucking overalls. I'm New England. I don't know, but I haven't posted as much. I've been socially distant and distant on social media as well. And plus, to also have the universe be like, well, we just gonna recycle fucking everything, and like, bam, a race revolution within that feels fucking crazy. And I don't know how to make it funny in 140 characters or less, and especially with the protesting going on and then police brutality. It's just like, I just need a minute, and in the meantime I gotta cut up these chicken nuggets, you know. So
yeah, I gotta make my kids look cute for the morning kitchen photo shoot.
Yes,
right, it's balance. Like, I don't know, I mean, gosh, a baby during COVID, and then twins. How old are your twins now?
They're a year and a half.
I mean, they're ridiculously cute too, so you just must like watch them constantly being adorable.
Well, when you're
I don't know.
Like, when I'm in it, it feels like I'm in a dryer and it's just like baby limbs. I'm like, but sometimes I just put them in front of the TV to watch Sesame Street, so I could be like, oh, look at what you did, because I don't know how cute they are unless I look at the screen.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, adorable. You have these two. I don't know. I don't have any of the answers. I just know that I'm trying to find my way through as an artist too. Like,
yeah, I know. That's so true. I mean, I love the podcasting. I love that you do this. I love that, like, now, you know, people have time to listen and watch. I feel like the first month of quarantine felt like the biggest TBT ever, where all the artists really were just like, well, I can't go on tour, so look at all this shit that I've done, which has been amazing too. Like, I told my husband 3 days ago, I said, wow, baby, I think I'm successful. And he's like, where have you been? And I'm like, just trying to get through. So I think this is a great time for reflection, if you have time to do that when you're not wiping your feet off because your kitchen floor is so dirty, just me. And I think just
oh no, not just you.
I think you don't have to be funny, but there's also something about making people feel less alone that's also beautiful and also our responsibility, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, most people I speak to bring up at some point this is hard in some capacity, whether they're dealing with something like a death in the family, like
Yeah.
a birth in the family. Like it's all hard. And
Yeah.
if we can find our people to connect to over this time, I think
Yeah.
that'll be saving us. And just go, yeah, man, this is
Yeah.
hard. Like I can't imagine. I know that you've got a lot to be, I know that you're a person that is grateful and you have a lot that you're very positive about, but also it's hard.
It's so hard. It's so funny because family members and my husband will be like, but it's a beautiful day, but look at our backyard and this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, um, yeah, but it's not real. Like,
Right.
just because I get to sit here and be safe and enjoy this, I can't help but think about the mom that has to go out on a public bus and put a mask on and go treat people and then like hopefully not get COVID. And even if she does, she's still got to work. And then like, you just can't help but think about it. Like my Haitian family that has darker skin, it's like, what's going to happen when my little cousins grow up and they just walk down the street or fucking jog down the fucking street? Like, it's just so fucking bananas. Yeah. So I think the only way we change the world really is by educating ourselves, and whatever that means to you, just fucking do it. Put the time in. People will research where to get a great hamburger on Yelp more than they'll research the person they're voting for. It's fucking bananas. Truly.
No.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Educate yourself. And then also think about, that person that lives 5 miles from you. What is that like? That's the only way we change, is when we think about everybody else, not just ourselves. I remember when Trump was elected that night, and I was crying. One of my Gaysian friends texted me in LA, and he's like, man, I voted for Hillary, but I don't really care who wins because I'm gay, but I never want to get married, and I'm rich, so I'm good. And I'm like, delete, unsubscribe fucking ever, because you are part of the fucking problem. Don't say I'm not political. It's not even about politics right now. It's about right and wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Where did you? No, keep it. Are you kidding me? There's no apology necessary.
I know, but I didn't mean to get Don Lemon on a bitch.
I think this is exactly right. I do, because I think that this is our time to speak our mind and our truth, and you're affecting people with your voice and your thoughts, and I think this is exactly perfect.
Aww. Get on your feet.
I can. I mean, we can joke. I mean, the delightful thing about you is you're somebody that can obviously connect to comedy and connect to jokes, and you're infinitely positive with your approach to life. And it's not a but, it's an and. You also have this deep, right? Like these deep feelings and rage and anger towards what's happening. And I think those can live simultaneously, and they must, don't you?
Yeah, they must. Oh yeah, they fucking must, truly. Oh man, they fucking must, because if you are not offended, then you are part of the problem. If you're saying shit like, take the emotion out of it, these are people's lives. These are people's lives. Trans people fucking matter, and they are defending our country in the army and not even being heard or respected, okay? People from South America and Central America are fucking people too. You cannot help where you're born or who the fuck you are. And if you cross the border looking for a better life, it's because you don't want to get killed and wherever the fuck you are, and you want a better life for your fucking country. So why does a white collar crime just be way more acceptable? You're still stealing from people, as opposed to people who just want to cross the country to do jobs you don't even want to fucking do, so they could have a better life for generations to come. And now you punish those people and you take their kids away. Now that I have kids, I don't even know. I love my dog. When I am gone, somebody needs to send me pictures of my dog every fucking hour so I know how she's doing. I cannot even imagine my kid stuck somewhere on a border in a cage with no clothes. I don't know how they pooped. I don't know who's touching them. I don't know who's feeding them. I don't know what they've learned that day, what word they're doing, who's looking at them. All that shit is hella traumatizing for everybody involved. God. And just to look over it, just because they don't have blonde hair and blue eyes, you are part of the fucking problem, okay? So you want to talk shit about Hitler, you are doing the same goddamn thing.
Yeah. Yes. How, where, what, right? How, where, what do we do with that kind of, because I think that we are all capable of diving into that kind of injustice. Yeah. And that kind of like, what the fuck is going on in the world when things like that are happening? Yeah. I know I can dive deep.
It's all about keeping your world real. Like, yeah, we're going to try as hard as we can to keep everybody safe, but we have to keep our world real. I mean, I got so many text messages and emails from friends, mostly white friends, who were like, I'm so sorry, you know, that I didn't believe you, that I doubted you, this, that, and the other. And it's just like, I am not out here like Al Sharpton at every fucking dinner table trying to get people to sign a fucking petition. But I am, you know, just speaking not only my truth, everybody else's truth. And so when I would talk about race at a dinner party, people would roll my eyes. I'm like, this is so fucking frustrating, right? So I think getting back to what you said, it fucking sucks. It is a low. Like picture black moms whose sons want to go to college and they don't know how to, you know, not instill fear in them. They're also like, please go change the world, but also don't die. And this is how you talk to that cop. I mean, think about black kids that have special needs and people don't even understand that. So like, there are all these nuances and levels and phases that we have to go through, and you definitely have to mourn that shit. But then you say, okay, friends, how do we fucking fix it? And it's not even just about your black friends. It's about your Indian, your white, it's about everybody, because colorism exists fucking everywhere in every culture in every country. And yeah, man, I think donating and posting as much really kind of well-written articles that people can kind of digest is where it's at. I don't know how to really do this all safely. I mean, you can do cleanup at a protest if you don't want to go to a protest. But the only reason why the Black Lives Matter movement really has any traction right now is because white people have gotten involved. And that is a good thing. That is a good thing. I mean, even with Me Too, it's like the only reason why these men were held accountable is because men started believing women. So white people, essentially, for Black Lives Matter, are the men in the Me Too movement, and we all need a Brad Pitt at the end of 12 Years a Slave. So, with that said, it's okay. Do whatever you feel comfortable with, you know? People will always say, oh, where were you? Why now? Where were you before? Who gives a fuck? As long as you show up, okay? Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you're late. Just show up. Did I answer your question? I don't remember what the question was at this point.
I think I was talking about makeup and French braids, but we got there eventually. I can imagine. But I do think that when I ask myself the question of what do you do with that pain that everybody's going through, I think the answer is something. Do you know, like it's not nothing, and it's something every day. It's taking your foot and putting on the pedal harder so that we don't go and give that job to somebody else to handle. And I don't know what it looks like. As you said, it could look like a donation. It could look like sharing social media. It just has to be something every day where we're in support of equality.
Signing a petition, whatever the fuck it is, you know, if you feel the need to
and that's going to benefit. I mean, if you want to get selfish, it's going to benefit us all if we have a better equality in the world, you know, like it's going to reverberate so beautifully.
I saw this meme the other day, which I loved, and it said, being happy for someone's success will not fuck up yours. And that applies to everything in your life. Everything in your life that applies to, you know.
Where do you think you got the skill to be this kind of connector to human beings?
Fuck, I don't know.
Through your parents? Like, where did you like
they're
this?
So dead inside.
This is a trained gene that you've got going on. Is it from mentors? Who are the people in your life that taught you to speak up and speak loud?
Oh God, I don't have mentors. No, I mean, what?
I feel like you're your own mentor. You look in the mirror and be like,
no, but truly, I feel like I had to really sort of figure shit out by myself. You know, when people hit me up and they're like, can I pick your brain? Because I want to know how to do this or that. I'm like, no, just figure it out. You know, I know that my parents, obviously from third world countries in the Caribbean, came here and did their fucking thing. And I remember working a little overtime at the news station one day, and I was so pissed that no one said thank you. And I told my dad, I'm like, no one said thank you. And he was like, never work for a thank you. You do the best job you can and be like, you're welcome. And so when I realized, it's on me to make me feel good, I'm like, okay. But then it got to a point where, I was so independent. I didn't know how to be vulnerable in a relationship. I'm like, I can hold my own door. I'll pay for my own drink. I'll touch your dick if I want. I won't touch it if I don't want. And so it was really nice being with someone who's just like, the other clog won't drop. We are good. He hates clog jokes, but that's what I like to do.
Oh, I will never. I have a pair of clogs, and I love them to bits. Do you feel? I mean, do you feel like comedy saved your life in that sense a little bit? Like, saved your life seems like too big of a statement, but I feel like comedy comes along and sort of guides us and saves us sometimes.
It really did, actually. I mean, it gave me purpose, and it gave me confidence in a way that I didn't have before, because I got fired from a job, or let go from a job with I forget the name of the station. It was like a Spanglish station doing entertainment reporting, and the EP said I was just like, I didn't know how to dress myself, and I was too big to be on camera. I had a professor tell me that before. People have, it was only rejection for the first 10 years. But I always had comedy. Like, you could think I was not skinny enough. You could think I was not cute enough or feminine enough, but you could not fucking take funny away from me. That's why, like, when people are like, I don't find her funny, I'm like, well, you don't know how to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, what? I don't know what to tell you. Like, I can't teach you how to have fun, but yeah, I felt like it saved me in a lot of ways, where it gave me confidence and strength that I didn't know I needed in my 20s. And in my 30s, it gave me purpose and hope. And now in my 40s, I feel like it gives me strength in this voice and this platform to say, you are enough. You are always enough. Fuck the people who are saying you ain't.
Yeah, that's something you just said, that people can take anything, but they can't take away your comedy. And that's something that you always have power. Like, for me, that's my power, is comedy. I don't get my power through, I don't know. Like some other people
Instagram,
get power through their Instagram or their selfie taking. That doesn't really give me power. I know that I can walk into a room full of powerful people and meet their power with my comedy.
Yeah, I'm also just done with the word powerful people. Like, I'm so I'm just so done.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that? Powerful how?
Like, people in power positions? You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, people it's me, right? I'm giving them that power.
Exactly. I'm just, if I wanted anyone to tell me anything, would definitely be that. But also, that's just something you have to learn as well, right? It's like, oh man, we're all fucking people. How the fuck are you? Great. We all want something. We all want to, like, forget something. So it's just like, yeah, you're not better than anyone because you make more money or have a corner office.
Yeah. Yeah. Even actually, you might be a little bit worse because you're in an office and I'm on my own, doing what I want. I'm my own boss.
Life like it's golden. I'm braless for sure.
I am too. I mean, I haven't worn a bra for many months during COVID. And when I do wear a bra, I'm like, why would I ever wear these? And shoes, remember shoes?
No. They're all away, tucked in the closet.
Yeah. I know that 9/11 shook your world and rejigged everything for you. What was Michelle Buteau before and after 9/11?
Oh, wow. I think before 9/11, it's sort of like this Black Lives Matter movement, where I knew there was terrorism. I saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and Die Hard. Like, I knew there was like this, I knew people didn't like America. Like, I knew there was terrorism, but I just didn't know to what length. So working in the news department, it was a lot of house fires and corrupt politicians, and like a girl goes missing or a woman goes, there was a lot of like that. But that was that made me rethink everything, how disposable people found life, um, how unsafe we were, how racist and ignorant and uneducated Americans were about the difference between being Arabic and Indian. There were so many things that I couldn't really fully process till maybe 5 years later. And I remember my news director, a couple weeks in, because we were working 12 to 16-hour shifts, and I just remember not food shopping at all for that month or two because they just would feed us. And she was like, we can offer you guys therapy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do stand up because I don't fucking, what the fuck was I? And I'm like, I'm good. I don't, it's like, take the fucking therapy.
Now I'd be like, thank you.
I know. I wish that shit was like a birthright trip where I'm like, I'll take it now.
Yes.
But yeah, man, it was really fucking wild. And also, it also taught me this, not to be cheesy, but the strength of New Yorkers. I'd always come to New York. I lived in New York for like a few months then. I'm from Jersey. It's not too far away. But, when you see people just out volunteering, just people lifting people up you would walk down the street and see someone bawling on a sidewalk, and a perfect stranger would just lift them up and just say, I'm sorry, and help them, just carry them. The missing pictures everywhere, all of it just was like really a crazy fucking horror movie. And I can only imagine what it's like for people now, because I feel like there's always part of any tragedy that is cheapened to a holiday, to a sale at Macy's, to a t-shirt, to a pin, to a hashtag, so to a boomerang. And so, yeah, that was really fucking wild.
And then you started comedy like right away to go /therapy.
3 days. First day doing comedy, September 14th, 2001.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I was interested in it before, but I didn't know if I could. Like, I had taken a class. I'm like, how do I write a joke? I don't know if I'm going to do this. How do you hold a mic? I don't know if I can. So, like, I took a class and I was like, I don't think so. This is so stupid. It's all men talking about, like, people sucking their dicks. It's like, that's not me.
I feel like you've been writing jokes since like you were a child, though. I feel like when you started writing jokes, you went, wait a second, I've actually been writing jokes for a long time.
It's so funny you say that, because when I was like 8 or 9, I lived in a cul-de-sac in Hamilton Square, Jersey, and there was like 7 houses in the cul-de-sac, and I decided to make a magazine called Head Over Heels, and I would put I would have like the cover of the magazine, it was like a severed head in a shoe, and I would like write about what happened on the street that week. And I'd like color it and staple it and like put it in everyone's mailbox. I'm just like, can't wait to get feedback. And I'm just like, so-and-so's dog did so-and-so. And my parents got so many neighbors who were like, can your kid not put her shit in our mailbox? And I'm like, ugh. And I do feel like that's when I came up with my mantra, is like, if they don't want to hear from me, they're going to hear about me. Ugh. And I just thought it was such a beautiful fucking idea. I was head over heels, but it was a head in a heel. Whatever. I'm not advertising.
I'm a fan. Meanwhile, the neighbors are like, you're kind of terrorizing our children with this picture of a head.
Things that people would think are simple scare me. I have an irrational fear of bugs. If a spider's around me, I fold like a beach chair. I think I'm going to die. I'm like, clap, clap, clap. And my husband's like, relax. I'm like, easy for you to say, camper Dutch, what? And sometimes I get like a little panic attack if I drive over a bridge and I feel like it's not in good shape, because now that I have these twins and I'm driving over a bridge by myself, I'm not even, I guess I'm a catastrophizer, but I'm just like, it's a mom thing too. It's like, how do I save both twins in a car seat if we go over?
Wow.
Yeah. If there's a fire at night, how do we jump out of the window if I'm like, there's a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's nothing to do with your like career or like those kind of fears in comparison to driving over a bridge that collapses are like, I can handle anything on set. I can handle any kind of executives.
Yeah, that also was like sort of the IVF of it all because I would go to a set for the first time and just feel there's always that thing where it's just like, am I good enough? And after your body sort of fails you, and then like I had to go to surrogacy, pick surrogacy as an option to have kids, and then it wasn't legal in the state of New York, and I felt like my state failed me, and then my country was failing me because healthcare is so misogynistic. I was like, wow, then this little fucking Hollywood bullshit should be fun, and if it's not, then I don't need to be a part of it. You know,
yes.
Especially now with COVID, it's not the end all be all. Like, you know, it does suck for a lot of reasons, especially because as a size 18 broad, I just started getting sex scenes. And it's not like I'm some like pervert, but I'm just like, this representation is fucking important. Like, you got to normalize these titties, and people need to know that big bitches are worthy of love too. Because I know there's a lot of big bitches back there in here. Ow, put your hands up. Boys and girls in high school who have been shamed.
Yeah,
like,
man.
There's like the person that likes you but doesn't want to like you in public and shit. And it's just like, get me out of that fucking closet, because now Forever 21 got a plus size fucking unit. Bitch!
Yes. Are you doing nudie scenes?
Yeah, I did topless for Tales of the City, but they cut it out. And it was really funny because when the director saw my titties, he completely was like, I don't know how to like that. And I was like, fair enough.
You're gonna need 2 lights, buddy.
Call it back up, bitch. We need a jib camera for this ass. There's a little sex scene. It was more like an oral sex scene in Almost Love on Netflix now, and then also First Wives Club, available on BET Plus. Lots of sex scenes up in there, like with my husband and then like another dude. I'm just like, oh, this is great. Like, I am. A lot of people are like, you need to run this by me. I'm like, I'm cool. If you don't have panties, I'll bring my own.
Do you remember a moment like when you were like in your body and in the right place, the right time? You know that feeling where you're like, I'm owning this journey, and you're not looking back thinking, oh, maybe I should see if Walmart's hiring.
No, I always felt like I'm very decisive, and I always felt like stand-up is where I want to be.
Yeah. As soon as you made the decision, there was no turning back.
Since the first night, I was like, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I like it. It feels like I'm good at it. Let's see what happens. Like my husband, I didn't want to talk to anyone else. I'm like, I like you. I will even argue with you and not mind that. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. I don't know how you do it all. Can you imagine doing it all? Like with all the things that came at you all at the same time, do you have any advice? Like, do you ever have a time that you're like, oh, I have to turn something down because it's all too much for me? Or do you have any advice when everything starts happening at once?
Well, you know, I said yes to everything until like I didn't have time. And I like to say yes to things because, you know, for better, for worse, you learn from the good and the bad. But then I was just more picky, and I'm like, okay, I'll say yes to things that, you know, that have a good vibe, you know, that I'm not going to be embarrassed about. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like also people love to create, but they never want to show their shit to anyone or finish it because they already have talked themselves, you know, into a corner that it's not good enough. And look, I'm out here and I'm reading people's shit and I'm meeting people, and basic people love themselves, honey. And the most talented people I know are in a corner saying it's not good enough. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done.
I'm with you. I'm with you. What do you want to be best known for?
Being a good person.
2 words to describe your present state of mind.
Hot mess.
If this was a movie, if your life was a movie, what would have been the climactic moment leading up to this moment right now?
When I find a bathing suit that fits.
What do people not know about you?
That I'm scared of spiders.
When you spring into action, what is your usual first step in a project?
My right eye starts to blink. I mean, it has a heartbeat.
What is something that you haven't done yet, but you know you must do?
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know.
that's fair.
I feel like I've.
You haven't found it yet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I want to make a movie. I want to make a movie.
Yes, please. My final question, and I know one of the things you've said, because usually we say what's advice you would have given to your younger self, and you say don't tell yourself no because other people are going to tell you no. But what's advice you would give to your present self?
Advice I give to my present self. The glass is half full more than half empty, but keep fighting for what's right.
Mwah.
I got it right. Okay.
You got all of them right. You win something. You win like this whale. I don't know.
Don't give me
You're
the
the
ring.
best.
Okay. I love you. Goodbye.
You win this. You win. No, it's nothing. It's not even real. It's enjoy it. I love you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Apologize to your children for taking you away from them.
Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, please.
I think you're the best. Thanks.
You're the best.
I mean, I knew she was deeply, incredibly hilarious, and I knew she had a strong point of view in the world and that she was kind. And then I spoke to her and we went all of those places. Like, I just love how truly authentic she is. You know, she just jumped into the conversation and we dove into some good laughs and we dove into some good chats. And I'm grateful for that time with her. And I'm grateful to be able to share it with you. And if you haven't watched our Blaze Award presentation, head over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/firecrackerdept, and you can catch up on all our TIFF red carpet from this past Sunday. All of it! Michelle just puts a Buteau on everything she does, and that makes her such a unique and fantastic creator and artist in front of the camera and behind the camera and in just the world she exists in. It's an inspiration. And as she said, you know, just moving forward, doing all this stuff with kindness. I don't know about you, but I'm going to take a page out of Michelle's book. Not the book coming out in December, because I want to read that. I don't want any pages missing. But a page from her book. I'm going to fold it into a cute little airplane, and I'm going to just let it fly. Follow Michelle at Michelle, Buteau, and send her some firecracker love. Say congrats for the Blaze Award. Say congrats for your life. And let us know also on Instagram or Twitter at Firecracker DEPT what your favorite Michelle Buteau moment was. What's your favorite quote? She's got an amazing gift game over on Twitter, so check that out and let us know what stuck with you. Don't forget her Netflix special, Welcome to Buteaupia, comes out September 29th. I'm going to be watching it, and then I'm going to be tweeting about it, so I'll see you there. And then her book, Survival of the Thickest, comes out on December 8th. Oh boy, I mean, her credits alone, just reading those, I don't know how she does it, but she does, and I'm grateful for it. I'm so thankful that she gave us some time. I know she's busy, and I love that I was able to share her voice with our community at Firecracker Department. Like I always say, there's space for everyone within the Firecracker Department, and if you're not already part of our Facebook members group, why not? There's tons of stuff going on over there. That's our central hub for connecting with the Firecracker community, and where all our event reminders, conversations, and connections happen, like our Sparkler Department, which is little firecrackers. So if you have kids, go check out the Sparkler Department. Or are you an actor or a writer? Because we have the Script Department and Writing Department as well. Weekly, the Writing Department posts a prompt on Mondays so that you can do that anytime. Plus, we do a little writing gym with bursts, so you don't even have to prepare anything. We do that on Zoom every Thursday. Come and join us over there. Every Sunday, we host a community brunch on Zoom so that new and current firecrackers looking to meet other creative people like you can hang out and connect. And it's always really fun. We drink coffee, we often wear our pajamas and have bathrobes, and that's the way it rolls. We always want to know what you're doing and how we can help you move forward creatively. Monthly, we host a Script Department reading series, a Wellness Department meditation, live Spark chats on Instagram with past podcast guests, and even a movie club. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's a department and a seat for everyone at the Firecracker table. Come find yours, share your voice with the world, and connect with your people. Stay in the loop with everything I just threw at you by subscribing to our newsletter at firecrackerdepartment.com. Big, huge Ginormous thanks to my whole team. I'm throwing my arms up. Ginormous! Everyone who's in Los Angeles, Toronto, Vancouver, New York, and all the way over in the UK. Thanks to all our core members for everything that they do online and off to make this community, this Firecracker Department growing into what it is becoming, which is so important to me. And from what I'm hearing from the feedback, it's important to you too. So thank you. Big thanks to Jeff Milutinovic and Igor Karila for our theme music. We love it. And thanks to you, you, the one listening right now, for taking the time to listen, because we know there's a lot of options out there, and we so appreciate you taking the time to listen to us. Thanks everybody, thanks for listening. I'm Naomi, and we'll see you next time on the Firecracker Department.